Next, on Currents News, New York restaurants are open for business indoors.
And the doors to your man's pub in Glendale are finally open, and customers are saying there's nothing like being back at your favorite place. I'm Jessica Easthope, and that's ahead.
Then Governor Cuomo responds to the nursing home controversy, saying all the deaths were fully and accurately reported, but the firestorm continues. Plus, with the impeachment trial over, lawmakers push for a 9/11-style probe into the Capitol Hill attack as President Biden pushes for a stimulus deal. And the Lenten season in the time of COVID. We'll tell you about changes to this year's Ash Wednesday observance. The news starts right now.
Charlie is going to pick up the tab.
Well, that's a real.
Happy customers, relieved restaurant owners as the doors reopen, welcoming diners in from the cold after a long wait. Good evening, I'm Christine Persichetti. It's a good day at Your Man's Pub in Glendale. It's been almost a year since we brought you their story. The family-owned business, sometimes teetering on the brink of survival, relying on faith, family, and hard work. But now they're back. Currents News' Jessica Easthope dropped in to see how they're doing.
The locks on your man's pub are being taken off after nearly a year. Even though it may never be back to what it was like before the pandemic, the weight of the world is off Jimmy O'Reilly's shoulders.
It was great. It was fantastic.
When Jimmy closed his pub in mid-March, from the outside it looked like nothing was going on. But inside, Jimmy was working, building barriers and partitions by hand, making his bar safe for indoor dining, if and when that day would ever come. But it finally came on Friday.
They can go to 25% on Friday, and they'll be ready for that weekend.
Good stuff.
Your man's first big weekend back was a success. Jimmy says people are still afraid to come out, but the hard work he put in while the bar was closed made it so much safer.
Because of the barriers. Because of the barriers at the bar. People have said to me, I feel so safe coming in here.
Charlie is going to pick up the tab.
And customers say there's nothing better than being back.
It's nice to, see somebody in person versus talking on the phone or having a Zoom conference.
It's like the kids going back to school. You need to get out, you need to have a good time, you need to be among friends.
What? Cooking what?
For 11 months, Jimmy's family business survived on takeout orders, but was hemorrhaging money just to keep the lights on. He said it was almost too late.
I got the first PPP. I just got my second one, thank God, because it was getting down to the wire. Without it, I would be gone next month, this month maybe.
But it's not too late. Even in their darkest days, Jimmy and his family knew that if they had the chance, they would make a comeback.
I feel like no matter what, it's going to bounce back. It's right back being at home again, It's kind of like clockwork. Everyone kind of jumps back into the same rhythm.
Jimmy says if he can help it, Your Man's will always be a place to come for good food, good drinks, and a good time. He says his faith and his bar are two things that won't fade away. In Glendale, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Governor Andrew Cuomo responding for the first time to the nursing home scandal. This after his aide, Melissa DeRosa, reportedly told top state Democrats that the Cuomo administration withheld data on COVID-related nursing home deaths because they were worried federal prosecutors would use it against them. The governor says all of the deaths in the nursing homes and in the hospitals were always fully and accurately reported, but that there was a delay in providing some additional information to the public. He blamed the controversy on politics.
This past year, there is a toxic political environment, and everything gets politicized. And there's political spin, and then there are facts.
And now some state lawmakers are calling on the legislature to cancel its winter break this week to hold a special session to address the controversy and possibly strip the governor of his emergency powers. Tragic news in the city's subways. 4 people were attacked and 2 died in a subway crime spree that started Friday morning. The MTA is now looking to add another 1,000 police officers to patrol the subways and buses. This after 500 officers were already added because of the disturbing trend. A 21-year-old Brooklyn man has been arrested and charged with murder in the attacks. The subways will slowly start to reopen overnight. Starting Monday, they will only be closed for cleaning from 2 to 4 a.m. There's some frustrating news for parents and teachers. New York City has decided to cancel more than 100 universal pre-K programs, including 5 at Catholic schools in the Diocese of Brooklyn. One of them is Sacred Heart Catholic Academy in Glendale, where Currents News' Jessica Easthope caught up with some families and educators stunned by the news.
Mommy, take a picture of our sky.
Take a picture.
When you're as young as Aubrey, the sky's the limit.
Take a picture.
Her mom, Dina, hoped to enroll her in Sacred Heart Catholic Academy of Glendale's Universal Pre-K program next year, like she did with her son, Jeremy, because it's where he reached his full potential.
He came home every day with new information that he was learning about the different chapters that they were going through, and I'm really sad that my daughter's not going to be able to experience that next year.
Let me get your tag.
Sacred Heart's UPK program is one of 105 across the city that will no longer exist come next year. 4 are at other Catholic schools in the Diocese of Brooklyn. Now Dina doesn't know if she'll be able to pay to send Aubrey to Sacred Heart. She says it feels like the school is being punished.
I feel like we're being discriminated against because we're a Catholic organization, open 5 days a week, and the DOE can't pull that off. And I feel we're being punished for that, honestly.
Go ahead, sweetie.
And other parents feel the same way.
It does feel like religious schools are being singled out.
It just seems a little disappointing and frustrating that there's no clear reason why it's being defunded.
Right now, the school has 54 pre-K students, has been open during the pandemic, and is running UPK for nearly $8,000 less per student than it costs the city. So why would it get cut?
The reason that we were given for the rejection was that other programs in the area received higher quality scores. We've received great program assessments. We receive wonderful feedback from the parents on the parent survey every year. So I really am baffled.
ALISON, the director of Sacred Heart's UPK program, has appealed the city's decision. She says having no UPK would be a devastating blow to the community.
We offer early morning drop-off. We offer an after-school program as well. For us to not be in existence with UPK will really hurt the working families in the area.
We reached out to the Department of Education but have not heard back. If Sacred Heart's appeal isn't approved, administrators say they have no choice but to tell parents within the next 2 weeks that pre-K tuition for next year will cost around $5,000 a child.
Got him.
In Glendale, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Another person upset by this news is City Council member Robert Holden, who represents the community of Glendale, Queens. He wrote letters to both Mayor Bill de Blasio and Department of Education Chancellor Richard Carranza calling for the pre-K program at Sacred Heart to be reinstated. I spoke with Council member Holden earlier and asked if he's received a response.
Well, we did through the Department of Education. They are looking at it again. They are thinking about it, and we may have some good news. We'll see. It's something that we desperately need. We don't really have a lot of pre-K sites. And of course, the mayor doesn't include my neighborhood or my district on 3K. So we're the last to get all the mayor's social programs. I'm a product of 12 years of Catholic school. So I know the importance of a great education. And I, a graduate of Monte Cristi High School. It's now St. John's Prep, but it was a great school. I really, it prepared me for college, and I went on to get a master's, and it really stressed education. And so the parochial school education is very, very important, and pre-K is vital to the students getting molded to understand how to work, how to study, how to get along with one another. But we have to stress that we can't have the Department of Education and this chancellor's heavy-handed approach to things. There was no negotiations. They just announced, we're closing it, you're done. It doesn't matter if it's very popular. So I said, why are you going to eliminate something that's so popular, right, so vital? And you have to understand that there's children involved.
And we just heard in Jessica's story, the director of the program says she's baffled about why this pre-K was chosen to be shut down, along with 4 other in Catholic academies in the diocese. The parents say they think the Catholic schools are being targeted. What do you think?
I think that could be true. I'm not sure, but they've been targeted before. The Catholic schools have figured it out, and they do a great. Obviously, the schools in my district are wonderful, our Catholic schools, and very, very popular. The pre-K, like I said before, they had a waiting list. I mean, you have a waiting list. That means you must be doing something right. And I'm looking for more space, so I'm going to try to expand that program, not eliminate it.
All right, so what happens now? What can people do to save this program?
Well, again, they could pressure their elected officials, and I've been pressured by a number of people, but I welcome that because I'm on the same page with my constituents who want more choices, and they want local. Again, we have so many parishes in the district that are really kind of the center of the district, and it's home for so many people, not only school children, but seniors. And so we need to expand programs that we don't have. We don't have that many city-run programs, so we need the parochial schools to really step up, and they have stepped up, but we need cooperation from the DOE. I don't like the way the chancellor and the mayor is leading the Department of Education. I think their priorities are askew. So I have so much faith in the Catholic schools and the Catholic leadership that I'm going to fight for these kinds of schools, that they stay open and they expand, not take them away and uproot them.
All right, Councilman Robert Holden, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Christine.
Now to the nation's capital, where reaction is streaming in from both sides of the aisle over the weekend acquittal of former President Donald Trump. Senators from both parties agreeing that there should be some sort of 9/11 style probe into the January 6th attack on the Capitol, from the lack of law enforcement to the seemingly coordinated efforts of the rioters. And though Trump's political problems may have ended, he still faces legal challenges, with criminal investigations underway in Georgia for his handling of the election there and in New York over his financial dealings. With the impeachment trial over, the current administration is looking to push ahead with President Biden's agenda. First up, his $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. Karen Kafa reports from Washington.
With the impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump ended,
He is hereby acquitted of the charge.
Democrats eager to focus on President Joe Biden's agenda. First, his massive COVID relief proposal.
A lot of the current relief will expire in the middle of March, including the extended unemployment insurance benefits.
A number of House committees moved on portions of the legislation last week. Republicans arguing the $1.9 trillion plan is too much.
Republicans want to provide support where it's needed, but this package goes far beyond that scope.
In brushing off a $600 billion plan from a group of GOP senators, Biden showed little willingness to yield on scope or speed.
We had Republicans in the White House, Republican and Democratic mayors and governors in the White House last week, talking to them about the plan, many of which whom supported. So we're going to keep moving on in a bipartisan manner.
The White House facing pressure on a pledge to reopen schools within their first 100 days and concerns new coronavirus variants could thwart vaccine progress.
I would be very concerned, and my advice is to continue masking, to continue socially distance, and to avoid crowded environments. I mean, we have a few months to go, and we will be in a much better shape by this summer.
Biden hoping to keep COVID relief moving while eyeing other early priorities, including infrastructure and immigration. In Washington, Karen Kafa, Currents News.
President Biden is also looking to work with people of faith to combat poverty, racism, and climate change. So on Sunday, he signed an executive order reestablishing the White House Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnership. The nation's second ever Catholic president says he brought back this office to work with leaders of different faiths and backgrounds who are at the front lines of their communities and who can help us heal, unite, and rebuild. The office was first established in 2001 by former President George W. Bush. In Iraq, they're trying to curb the spread of COVID by shutting down houses of worship. This happening less than 3 weeks before Pope Francis's visit there. The pontiff is set to visit the country from March 5th through the 8th. The closures, including a curfew, are in place until March 8th, the last day of the pontiff's trip. No word yet if this will change the Holy Father's plans. There's a lot more news headed your way. Bishop DIMARZIO will be here to talk about the changes in this year's Lenten season because of the ongoing pandemic. Pope Francis will be celebrating Mass on Ash Wednesday from St. Peter's, and you'll be able to watch it right here on Net TV. And there are big changes at the Tablet newspaper. We'll tell you how you can get personalized and exclusive content, all coming up after the break.
There are now some big changes to the Tablet website. You can get personalized access to the Catholic news you value. Sign up for free at thetablet.org.
With Ash Wednesday right around the corner, the Bishop of Brooklyn, Nicholas DiMarzio, is detailing the changes you might see this Lenten season as he sits down with former Tablet editor Ed Wilkinson for this week's Into the Deep. Ed.
Thank you. We welcome Bishop DiMarzio with us today, and we're going to talk about the season of Lent. Bishop, Lent is upon us already. This year there's going to be a little different look to how we distribute ashes at the beginning of Lent. Could you tell us a little bit about the change?
Well, again, because of the coronavirus pandemic, it has been suggested from Rome itself, and looking at the liturgy, that we adapt the European custom. We're used to having ashes splattered on our foreheads and so that everybody can see it. But in Europe, the custom is that they're sprinkled on the person's head, the penitent's head, as he comes up for ashes. So again, it's a lot more sanitary. We don't have to touch everybody's head and touch somebody else's head. So that will be a change. But Lent, again, this year will be different because there's a lot of penance that we're doing that is imposed upon us by this coronavirus.
Yes.
So look for too much other penance to do. A lot of inconvenience. We're just wearing a mask is one of them. You can just imagine what people are going through. Everybody knows. And you have to accept that. That's kind of a passive penance. It's there. If we accept it and not complain about it, it still can be our contribution to the Lenten observance.
Yeah. Do you think it's a little bit more in keeping with the readings of the day? Because we hear in the readings of the liturgy today that when you do penance, do it in private. Don't let everybody know about the sacrifices that you make.
I agree. I quoted that in the article on Lent this year that say that that's what the Lord himself tells us. Don't be doing things for show, even though you could be a sign of your Catholicity and that you believe. This year, we should do it in secret, as the Lord tells us.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about the regulations that we have for abstinence and for fasting? Are they still in place this year?
They're in place, and we've got a great article by Monsignor Guccia, our canon lawyer, in the tablet explaining the little differences that may be here. Again, more latitude for people who cannot fast, people over age, so that they can observe without having to do all that is required.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that there are so many things that are being required, so many sacrifices that we're required to make these days because of the pandemic. So what are some of the other things, maybe some positive things that people can do for Lent instead of making these sacrifices and giving up things, so to speak?
Well, again, obviously, we see the food security problem that many people have. I mean, they just don't have enough money to buy food, sufficient food for their families. Again, contributing to food banks with food or with money is a great sign of solidarity with those most in need. And there are many other issues. In our schools, we have some parents who can't pay the tuition because they don't have any jobs. So again, our parishes are asking for help for individual students. So there are things, obviously, that came from the pandemic that can give us opportunities to do positive things besides the dependence we impose upon ourselves.
Yeah, and as we look forward to, as we go through Lent, and we're always aiming toward Holy Week and the great Triduum of liturgies, going to be a little bit different again this year. Last year, though, the churches were closed. We didn't even have these liturgies to go. What's it going to be like this year? Will it be a muted celebration?
Well, this year, not muted, but again, there's social distancing problems of not having that many people at one time. I think this year we have a more regular Holy Week with all the observances celebrated in church and televised and live streamed, of course. But it just won't be like the normal situation.
Okay, Bishop, thanks so much. We wish you a Holy Lent, and thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're throwing it now back to the news desk.
Thanks, Ed. The Vatican is also making changes to its Ash Wednesday observance. Instead of the traditional walk from the Church of St. Anselm to the Basilica of Santa Sabina, Pope Francis will lead a socially distanced Mass in St. Peter's Basilica. His Holiness is asking Catholics to use this Lenten season as a time to renew faith, hope, and charity. And you can watch Pope Francis celebrate Mass at St. Peter's this Ash Wednesday, February 17th, right here on Net TV. The Mass starts at 3:30 p.m. Still to come on Currents News, there's a new way to stay on top of all the great news coming out of the tablet newspaper this Lenten season. We'll tell you how coming up. Do you have a story idea or want to share a tip? Email us at newstips@desalesmedia.org or call our 24-hour number 718-517-3122. We'll be right back. The tablet, DeSales Media's newspaper, is adding a new online feature that's going to offer a personal touch to their readers. And you can start enjoying that exclusive content starting today. Currents News' Jessica Easthope explains.
A new personalized experience on the tablet website. With a free login that requires just a name and email, DeSales Media Group's newspaper will be allowing readers to customize, filtering out what they don't want and getting access to more of what they do, like exclusive articles, features, columns, as well as the tablet's online archive.
This is a way for us to connect with them a little bit more and for them to connect with us and personalize the experience so that they get the information and news that they want when they want it. There's a few questions.
VITO FORMICA, the executive director of news content and development for DeSales Media Group, the tablet's parent company, says the feature is the latest way DeSales is reaching out to readers.
At the end of the day, our mission is to evangelize, and we use all of our platforms at DeSales within the news department, television, newspaper, print, digital, to reach our audience.
Improving communication is at the top of the list of priorities for DeSales Media's digital team. Tablet readers will now be able to tailor the surge of news and information without slowing it down.
Because the tablet produces so much content and a broad interest, what we're trying to do is help the readers find the most valuable information most quickly.
Readers who don't sign up will still be able to view the tablet.org, and it will still be free. The login feature is being rolled out on February 15th.
This is what your profile page would look like.
And starting then, when readers click on certain content, they'll be prompted to create a login.
The way this whole system works is, right, so if you're a visitor to the tablet website, a regular visitor to the tablet website, and you log in and you create this profile, the more that you read, like, rate, and save articles, the more tailored your experience is going to become.
And for readers who still like the feeling of a newspaper in their hands, the print version of the tablet will have more content than what's online. And subscribing is a great way to support our mission. Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Again, today is the first day you can sign up for a personalized online experience. All you have to do is head over to the tablet website at thetablet.org. Once you're on the site, just follow the prompts and you'll be able to sign up for free. And that is Currents News. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.